Hey guys, yeah, so Animaj keeps copyright blocking me, but I'm just gonna keep re-uploading this because this is totally fair use and it's not even that critical of them. It's kind of wild. When I first heard of this, I was kind of upset because I hadn't realized that AI had gotten so efficient that it was able to basically produce an entire show. But you'll see here that it actually isn't the case here. It seems to be more a case of AI hype and speaking towards the investors rather than the show actually being made by AI. When I looked into it, it's actually not that bad. So I'm going to kind of give you guys some more context and let you see for yourselves and come up with your own perspective on this. I know everyone has their own takes on AI, and in this case, I'm very curious to see what you guys think. So let's just jump right into it. So, OzzyFox is coming from people who have a lot of understanding of children's animation, and Pocoyo is another good one. That is personally one of my favorite preschool animations that are like easily available on YouTube. And by that, I mean like it's not as good as Bluey, obviously, but for the niche that it's trying to hit, more specifically, the super cheap, quickly made, semi slop, but not as bad as slop kind of content, it's pretty good for what it is. You know, I certainly enjoy it. But in this case, what they're doing is they are kind of creating an animation that works in collaboration with AI to speed up the whole animation process and then pitching it as if AI actually made the animation. So it's very clearly just a quick cash grab between Disney and Animaj in order to kind of get the interest of the right? I mean, this is just a generic kids cartoon. This is kind of where Animaj is very strong in. As I mentioned, they have worked on different animation shows such as Pocoyo and Maya the Bee, and I believe something about the Raving Rabbits as well. But Animage has been around for years, and kind of like the fear that people are having right now is, are they going to basically utilize AI to get around using animators, right? So to find out the answer to that question, I imagine it might be best to go into Animage's website themselves. So let's kind of take a quick look here. Animage is a French uh, studio, right? And they've been around for several years already. Their whole thought process is that the children's animation space is mostly slop. And what they're trying to do basically is, how can we create as much content to kind of compete with this level of slop without having to dumb down the quality of the writing as much as possible, right? So, as I mentioned, Pokyo, Maya the Bee, I've never heard of this Hey Kids thing, but they did Rabbids as well. And OzzyFox is their newest addition to their lineup, right? So when you hear about, oh, they're using AI, they're trying to get rid of animators, this is terrible, I assure you it's not as bad as it looks. Let's look into what they mean when they say that they're using AI. They're actually talking about this sketch to motion workflow that they created, like, I want to say like 4 years ago, maybe. But either way, the whole thought process with sketch to motion is, how fast can we speed up the posing, right? So the storyboard artist will just sketch a pose here, and then the AI, or neural network or whatever, is going to look at this sketch and adjust the model in Blender or whatever software that they're using to actually align with the sketch. So that does the keyframes really quickly. And I think that when you look back at the animation that they had using Pocoyo, this is kind of like the same style. And you know, I've seen some people say that this is a terrible slop show because of the quick pacing and the style is ugly and gross. I caution you to try and avoid saying that because it's AI, it's going to be ugly, because I'm sure that you've seen over the last few years, AI has gotten better and better at imitating human creativity and creating like decently good content. Most people are not animators. Most people are not art people. They see something with like talking animals and they're like, okay, we're good. That's all we're gonna work with, and it's good enough. Most people don't really respect animation as a medium, unfortunately, and so that's kind of like how we get this kind of corporate type animation. So let's look into Animaj's owner or the CEO or whatever his name is, 60 Dave Volpain or whatever. Um, so I looked into him a little bit more, and you can see this guy is not like some evil, horrible person, um, like devil behind the curtain type guy. You can see from his background, he seems to have just made a startup, gotten rich through that, became an angel investor, and then when he had children, he decided to try and make higher quality content for them on YouTube. And this is genuinely a good business case because I'm sure that you've seen on YouTube, kids slop content is rampant, especially when you have as high of a quantity expectation for content for children. So it's kind of like a race to the bottom kind of a situation. So what Animaj does, which is very interesting to me, is they hire actual artists and um, they hire artists as well as engineers. And so their whole thought process is we need to speed up how quickly our animators can create content, create stories, so that they can pump out as much of our content or cartoons out there to compete with the slop that you would find otherwise. So in comparison to, Elsa, Spider-Man pregnancy weird shit that they do for children on YouTube, Ozzy the Fox is quite good, honestly. So yeah, so I guess that's kind of what I wanted to share with you. I wanted to kind of give you a brief overview of the situation. I'm curious about what your thoughts are. I know the concept of utilizing AI more in animation is extremely scary. And generally, honestly, I agree with you. I think that artists should always be at the helm. But on the other hand, it's important to consider that not all animation is made to, make art necessarily. A lot of animation is a product. And when you have expectations of content as high as we have on YouTube, it could make sense for, a studio to come in and speed up the process in whatever way they can. Uh, anyway, I want your thoughts. Let me know in the comments. Have a good one. Bye.